my secrets, nothing more. I check the drawers, I check the spikes, left me hanging in my Nikes. Last night we tore up the town, now my wallet's not around. Call the cops or play it smooth, pay my debts and start anew. Hey, hey, where'd it go? My cash, my cars, my flow. Don't you know what's gone? Now I'm broke from dusk till dawn. Dancing lights and screaming bass, drinks were flowing in that place. Left a tip but lost my grip, now my wallet's gonna slip.
In a world where financial advice is as blurry as a wild night of cheap Jell-O shots, clear your head and your monetary halitosis with the About That Wallet Show hosted by Anthony Weaver. Leave those Jell-O shots for the amateurs and learn to indulge in the top shelf bottles, baby. Now, here's your host, Anthony Weaver.
What up, everybody? Hopefully y'all are having a wonderful Friday Eve, and thank you for joining us live today. I have a wonderful person who always talks about finding that confidence, building that authenticity, and actually having a great time while doing so. Welcome to the show, Jyllian Clarke. Woo.
Thank you, Anthony, for having me. I'm really excited to do this live podcast with you.
All right, let's give you a round of applause.
Oh, that's good. I love it.
Because one of the things that I just want to let the audience know, if y'all watching this live right now, type in #excellence because we will be doing a book giveaway later in the show. So by all means. Oh, you want to talk about your book right quick?
Do I want to talk about my book? I always want to talk about my book.
Well, let's talk about the book that we're about to give away.
Okay, we'll start there. So, Pure Excellence, The Joy in Finding You. I released this book back in March. It was March 1st. And in fact, there's 2 editions. So if you have this book prior to June, there's an edition. But then I noticed when I was recording the audiobook that there were a couple things that I wanted to change. So I worked with my publisher and re-released it in June 2025. So the book is just all about the joy in finding ourselves. It's really about us leaning into who we are as people, noticing those moments when we tend to do things that aren't in alignment with who we are, our values, our boundaries. I talk a little bit about groupthink in there, like you end up doing things because everybody else is doing it. But then in that quiet moment, you're like, I'm actually not as excited about it as everybody else seems to be. But you do it anyway because that's what the group is doing. So really like making decisions that align with who you are as a person, who you are values-wise, boundaries-wise, and not being afraid to do that, doing it such with confidence and just finding joy and being able to say, like, this is not who I am, and I'm going to choose something different, even though you, friend, might not like it. So that's what the book is about. And it's got a lot of practical exercises in there for you to really just see where you are. And it's not necessarily for people who don't know who they are. It's about deepening connection with yourself, no matter where you are in the journey. And the book actually was my way of giving back, because when I was in a state of chaos personally, I found myself at 50 years old being in a state of like, I just realized that I just wasn't always my authentic self. And I had built myself up on accolades and achievements and all kinds of stuff. And then all of a sudden I didn't have those tangible to me. And I looked for all these different things. It's in the book, you'll read about it. But, I was looking for just different ways to like really figure out, who am I? Who am I without all these things? And I didn't have that for myself. And so when I kind of came out of my chaotic spin that I was in, really trying to figure out who I was as a person, I decided to give back in a couple of different ways. And this is one of them, Pure Excellence, The Joy in Finding You. So I wrote it. Took a long time, but it's out.
I love it because in our times right now, I have to say, when it comes to audiobooks, the reason why I like the audiobook sometimes more than the paperback,
Mhm.
I've noticed that a lot of people actually give you a little bit more in the audio format. They was like, "Hey, I really why I wrote this chapter is because I was going through this moment, or what was I thinking about in those particular moments in time." So I was like, that's a cool way to kind of play on the audio versus if you got the physical book. And I like that your publisher was open up to kind of go back and make those changes.
Yes, yes, it was a lot of back and forth. However, we got there. I can be pretty persuasive. A couple of them were, just editing errors here and there. Every book has an error in it.
Mm,
But when I did the audio book, which I love what you're saying because my book does not give insight into why I wrote certain things. You have to have me on a podcast or something.
okay.
Those inside scoops or a book signing, I do talk about all things that went into the book. I have a couple things at the beginning and end that they allowed me to ad lib and put in, but really the audiobook is just me, my raw emotion as I'm reading it, which you don't get from the book. You get words in the book.
Mm.
So yeah, everyone has a different preference, but I've got lots of books to give away. So
Yeah, because one of the things that's going on that we also understand is that authenticity in the Black and brown community, but it's not a good thing. So we have to do something called code switching. And a lot of times that can be a detriment to who we are as our core, but
mhm.
also could actually help us. So why is it now such a good time to kind of show up authentically you?
Yeah, what a great question. And I would dare say, although, yes, Black and brown, but I see it across all races. I see it across all genders. It doesn't matter. There's different environments that we go into. And sometimes people do change who they are as a person in order to fit in order to belong. And I think more and more now people are realizing, like, I'm just going to show up as I am. And I almost would say, it's the younger generation that's really bringing this out of us because we as older, individuals have kind of suppressed that because we weren't well received. We didn't fit in. We wanted to belong and we didn't know how to create our own tables and invite other people into our tables.
Mm,
And so I think right now, between what's happening with our government, with what's happening, all the different layoffs that are happening. And that sort of was part of my story as well as I got laid off. And it was unheard of. It was a while ago and it was embarrassing and all kinds of things. But I think that in that space, we have to figure out like who we are, what are our values, what are our boundaries, what will and won't we tolerate, what's acceptable to us as people. And I think when we start seeing all the things that are happening in the environments that we're in, it's really important and, in fact, professionally responsible for us to create these environments where people feel safe to show up as themselves. The problem is people don't always know how to do that. And I've come across so many people that are like, I know who I am. I know who I am. And that's great. Again, this is about meeting people where they are. But what I often find out is there are moments when they're kind of like, well, no, actually, I don't know this. I don't know this part of it. Um, I grew up partially my younger years were in England and I moved to the States from England into a predominantly white school. And, you talk about code switch, and it was very interesting for me because I came here at a young age and just kind of acclimated to whatever environment I'm in. That's a strength of mine is whatever environment I'm in. But it's interesting for me because um, predominantly white people kind of just absorbed me. Black people were saying, "Oh, you're trying to be white. You have this accent or what have you." Well,
yeah.
what? So, it's just one of those areas where, like, just who you are as a person, and as long as you're rooted in who you are as a person, it doesn't really matter where you are. Know how to be professional. If you're in the professional environment,
Right.
it doesn't mean you're changing who you are. It just means that your professional self shows up. And then when you're shucking and jiving with your friends, then that's cool too. So, it's just one of those things, but being able to understand who you are, not change as a result of that, and be comfortable with who you are is so very important.
Yeah. So Floyd from Highway 54, thank you for chiming in, said he grew up code switching.
Mhm.
And I think we were just taught early on is just like, hey, you better act right while you're inside this grocery store. Or, when you go shopping with your mom, be like, hey, you better not touch nothing.
Right.
Right. Get that little pep talk before you go in.
Right.
You
Right.
learn.
Exactly. Was it a pep talk? Oh,
Yeah. It's more like, ain't no talking. This
right.
better
Right.
directive.
Exactly. Yeah.
And my mom's chiming in too. Make sure y'all type in #excellent if y'all want the book giveaway. Be part of that process.
Yes. Yes. Hello to your mom.
Yeah, thanks. I'm
Yeah.
sure she's like, hey, I'm actually getting. Oh, that's not from mom. So, but you as you know, growing up, dealing with finding yourself in this community and going through those different childhood memories and those core memories and definitely switching out from what you're used to and getting out of your comfort zone. How did that help solidify who you are today?
Hmm. How did that help solidify who I am today? In a couple of different ways.
Mm,
And I think part of that is I just sort of showed up places as I was. And it wasn't until I was much older that I realized that, like, sometimes I rub people the wrong way. And then sometimes, most times everybody was accepting or what have you. So it was kind of like one of those things. And this is what I see very often is you might rub somebody the wrong way. And then all of a sudden, they're the people that you're trying to like figure out like what's happening here, and everybody else likes me, so why not? And so my upbringing was more about, don't worry about those people, go do your thing anyway. And I think my parents a lot too, because they've really raised me just like, this is who you are, and you're going to have people who don't like you, you're going to have some people who do. But I think just as people and as we grow, we naturally want to be able to be liked and loved by everybody. And that is kind of the basis that starts to shape us in ways that aren't always aligned with really who we are as a people, as a person. And so, it's an interesting question that I ponder because I never really had any issues with like who I am as a person. Um, I think my authentic self is what people genuinely like about me, but I did find myself in a situation where, as I looked back, I'm like, wow, there were times that I probably did things, said things, acted in ways that I probably shouldn't have if I was really being true to myself. And for me, I really appreciated the achievements that I had and the accolades that I would get. And, I was in these top positions, both in government and corporate, and that gave me some clout, to some degree. And then when it was all gone and I was sitting in silence, I'm like, who am I really?
yeah.
Who am I without all those things? Because I didn't think this is a mindset that I had to realize. But at that moment, I'm like, I'm nobody.
Mm,
I don't have a job anymore. I don't have this. I'm not in these powerful positions anymore. So then who am I if I'm not there? And I really had to start over from this life that I, knew just being myself. I'm like, wait a minute, really, who am I?
mm.
So this is a long way to answer your question, but
No, I love it because one of the things that we go out when you go out to parties or catching up with family members, the first thing they ask you, so what do you do? And it's kind of like, well, I do a lot of other things. And ultimately, what they're asking for is, what do you do for work? What do you do for income?
right.
And it's just like, well, I can do a whole lot more than just that.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
what is it that, like you said, when all the titles are stripped, when do you realize that you're more than just the titles?
Hmm. So, great question. And what I discovered, and I actually have a trademarked initiative called I Am Me 100% Validated. And it's a guided self discovery journey where you're really just looking at yourself. What is it about you? What are your traits? What are, using like I am blank, like I am brave. And so it's really about deepening that connection with yourself and realizing who you are deep down, brave, scared, fearful, embarrassed, confident. It's all these things that we define. We have buckets for ourselves, good, bad. None of that, right? We're
Mm,
not not it's who we are. What we do, what I really walk people through is being able to identify what those traits are within us. Nothing has to do with the title. Nothing has to do with the pecking order where you are with siblings, any of that, right? It's all about who you are, what you bring to any conversation. I am happy. I am a shining star. It's, those kind of things, all the way to everything that we might consider bad, but they're part of us. Part of what I realized, I'm like, I'm a little mean.
Right.
And you like to look at that, but now I can laugh about it. But there was a time when I was like, oh my goodness, I really am. And I was devastated to really come to that honesty about myself. But then I realized it's about how you actually leverage that trait that matters. And so when do I bring that out? When is it useful? What's the impact that I want to have on the world? And when we become so unbelievably aware of ourselves, we can begin to have the impact on the world that we really truly want to have. And be careful of impacting in ways that we didn't mean to impact. And we can be very intentional about our decisions when we know who we are and how they align with what we value.
I like that because, obviously at work, there's a lot of people that like to test your gangster. You're like, oh, you're horrible at this and you trash this way, or I don't like the way that you put on your shirt today.
Right.
I've seen people talk about somebody's attire more so than their work ethic more than once.
Mhm.
The question is, it's like, how do you kind of maintain your composure to keep your paycheck? When
Well,
that comes up?
I would ask that back to you, right? Because sure, somebody says something negative, it stings. But I would ask, like, why is it important to you what that person is saying? Or how
Mm,
they feel about you? Or what they say about you? Why is it important to you? What's so important about it that you feel you have to respond to it?
mm,
So, those are the types of questions, coaching questions, that I would ask. And then you can make a very conscious decision about, do I respond and give this person my energy or not? There was a time when I probably would have, said something back or whatever. Now, if you don't like what I have on, you don't like what I have on. It's none of my business what you think of me. You keep that to yourself.
right.
But if you choose to bring that out, okay, so you don't like my sweater. I'm good. It doesn't change who I am as a person or how I'm going to, be. But then if it bothers you, I'm asking questions like, what is it about it that bothers you? Maybe you didn't like it either and you decided that, wow, I'm going to wear it anyway. And then somebody makes a comment and you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have worn it. Right. So there's all those things. But that's the first step is like, what matters? Why is it important? And that's how you keep your composure. What are your values? What does it matter? And is it really that important to you to be able to respond to that individual, or is that individual really that important to you?
Ooh, okay. I really do like that because we go through life being judged all the time. And especially like you get it at home more so than you can get it at work. So that's why the reason why I'm like, can we just bring back bullying as kids? Because some people are so sensitive nowadays. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know sure what's going on. Is it the way how we like how the parents are actually raising their children nowadays to kind of deal with conflict? Because now, because we're dealing with people who are in the sandwich generation, they have kids and also they deal with their parents. But if they have their kids, how do they kind of what as you could say, this is the part I like to edit out when I'm pre-recordings. Edit all this out.
Hey,
But
I'm
this
just
is live, right?
space. I'm letting you get your question out. So go ahead. Mom's listening.
Right. I'm gonna try to land the plane on this one. All right. So the question is, what strategies or tools or even questions should a parent or even suggest a parent give to their child to kind of build that confidence in themselves for who they are?
Hmm. Wow. Okay, so you landed that plane, not where I thought you were going, but and so parenting advice is really how I would wrap that up. And I've got 3 kids. Each one would tell you something different about me as a parent. What I will tell you is that I grew as a person having them as children. But one of the things that I was very, very deliberate about was making sure that they had a voice. Something that I didn't always feel like I had, but I didn't know that I didn't have it until later. And some people might say, like, oh, you gave them too much of a voice. But I was always kind of like, someday, I mean, it happened way sooner than I thought, where they exercise their independence and their voices. But someday it's going to serve them very well. And so I just wanted them to be able to be heard, because I grew up kind of like, kids are in the room, but don't speak unless you're spoken to.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of different things. I had, communication was very important in my family, but at the same time, there's a lot that we did not communicate about. And so I have raised my children to be able to communicate. I would always say, what is wrong? Use your words, and always give them a place and a platform to voice whatever they wanted to voice. And so with that, there are lots of different various variations of what I'm saying. And so when you say that, some kids are really sensitive. Now I'm one of those sensitive people. I am sensitive. My kids will tell you in a minute, oh, mom, you're so sensitive. You're so sensitive. But I think they caught me really at a time. They were teenagers, and in college, as I was going through a lot of my own self-discovery, moments here, and just recognizing where I was in life. And I think having kids made me a little softer as an individual too, because I definitely have much more of an understanding. So as a parent to other parents, I would say approach what you're doing with a level of understanding and compassion, and try not to suppress their voices. You want your place, at least for me, I wanted my home to be the safest place
Mm.
that my kids had. And I wanted that for their friends and such too. Like they knew that they had a safe place where they could come and be themselves and have a voice and understand. And I would approach it with a level of understanding. And with that, we produce so many different types of kids, but it's not just about parenting, it's about the environment. And so how you interact with the environments that they're in or that you place them in is equally as important as what you're doing to parent them in the first place. So
I
that
like that.
could get really deep really quickly.
No, it's really good because I don't have any kids. Like this platform, this podcasting is my baby and my child and my gift to the world. And most of the time, your job as a parent is to kind of mold your child for being a person that's giving value to the world and society. And having that, I know people be like, Anthony, you're getting kind of deep on your show. It's been a while, so
So let's go deep. Let's
yeah.
go deep.
Well, talking about having those uncomfortable conversations, like now, you as a parent, and I believe you like your empty nester now.
I am. I
Oh,
am. My youngest went off to college this year. And so, yep, empty nesting or
so
bird
how was
launcher, I guess is the right term now. I'm a bird launcher.
nice flinging birds out the way out the window? Like, get off my tree! Like,
But yes, I am.
and so with your parents now in the wing, and you just kind of giving your, you're just kind of starting to breathe now. Let's talk about the parents. How do you start to bring them into your space, like going forward, like far as like health and dealing with their mental and their physical capabilities? Are you able to kind of take on that now, or just kind of like, hey, I'm trying to set them up financially and they be all right?
So let me understand your question a little bit. When you say how about parents, do you mean my parents?
Yes, your parents.
My parents. That's what I thought.
I'm
Okay, because
sorry.
that's a whole different ball of wax too. It's like, my kids left. We are loving our empty nesting now, and we are so proud of our three kids who have gone off. They make great decisions. They're definitely people who they're still figuring life out, but they're very good. We've taught them right from wrong, which I believe happens much earlier than people think. I think we're still molding them at 16, 17, 18 now. They already know. But, very proud there. But what happens is, I'm still very close to my parents, and they're elderly. They're in their 80s, and they have technology challenges. I mean, our technology world is changing like this. At 8 o'clock, it looks one way, and at 2 o'clock, it looks totally different because they've rolled out an update. That's really challenging. So my brother and I have become all things technology gurus for, my parents. They have health issues. And so, being able to navigate that, I'm always on the phone, like, or going to the doctors with them or something. And, it's definitely a different space. I'm kind of the epitome of the sandwich generation right now with my, kids and my parents. But being really clear on my own boundaries is so important. I'm not always with either one of them because I need my own space, and my husband and I need our own time too. And so being able to communicate that is really important to everybody. And then I have another person actually in there who's a family friend who I grew up calling uncle.
Mm.
And I'm his power of attorney. So not only do I have my parents and my kids, but my uncle is now in a space where he cannot live independently. And it happened overnight. And I'm the power of attorney. So I have to step up for that as well. Very daunting tasks that have happened and are ahead of me with my uncle, but there's a lot to that. And so finding my own balance is somewhat challenging, but more importantly is like, where are my values and what are my boundaries, and how do I articulate that to those who need it articulated to?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because that's going to be a doozy, because nobody talks about the burden, or not even a burden, just the thought process and the weight that it has to be the power of attorney for somebody.
Mm,
And it's good that they actually had that set up for that to happen.
sure.
Having the wills in place and actually having, because it's a finance show, we got to talk
It
finance.
is. I know. We got to talk finances. Yeah.
So how has it been, before we get to our drinking session? What? Let's save that for after the drinking session.
Okay.
So we got a couple minutes here. Let's give a shout out to the people that made it this far. And for those of you who are just chiming in, we are sitting with Jyllian Clarke, the owner, actually the author of Pure Excellence, The Joy of Finding You, who has been running an excellent program. And for well over, like, how long have you been doing this now? For like,
So I started the business in 2020, but I haven't been
really?
doing it. Yeah, I did. But then in April 2023, I decided I'm all in. Let's go.
Let's
And
do it.
so, yeah, so 2.5 years now. Yeah, 2.5 years.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm very committed, very dedicated to it. So yes.
Cool. Yeah, because it doesn't seem like you've only been doing it for 2 years, though. It's just
Yeah.
like just looking at your breadth of work, and it just feels like it's been well over at least 10 years solid.
Oh, thank you for that. It's there's been a lot of intentionality behind it because I'm really driven by things that are very core for me and things that I'm passionate about. And like I said, when I went through my own journey of really trying to figure out who I was as a person, there were things that were not there for me. They may have been, but they weren't readily available for me, or I didn't see them. And maybe I didn't want to see them. I don't know. But it really drove me to a place of being able to give back in ways that weren't there for me at the time, or at least were not visible to me. And so I'm very driven by that intentionality and bringing people together, just that connection piece. And so it's just moving, and I've got goal focused and hoping to bring people into this space so that they can do the same, just be rooted in who they are.
Cool. Rooted and booted.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say hi to let's see, like, got this is Jay. I want to make sure I pronounce that right. Thank you, Floyd, for coming through. Hey, what's going on, Nia?
And I see them, they're popping up. Hey,
Yeah.
I see them. Yeah. So the one comment there, people are not comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They're not. We always are seeking comfort. Oh, there you go. You can bring it back up. People are
Mm-hmm.
not comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it's so true. We I think as a people, we are constantly seeking comfort. Even in our jobs, we want to be comfortable. We get into a job and we're frustrated 5 days later when we're still uncomfortable in the job. And then suddenly we find a place of comfort and then we just want to sit there
Right.
and, stay comfortable. And moving people out of their comfort zones, whether that's professionally or personally, is it's so true. People don't want to be uncomfortable. So my role in what I do
Mhm.
is, like, let's sit with the uncomfortable, because
Mhm.
that's when you really discover who you are. That's really just when you really discover, like, who you are as a person, what your values are. That's when you really discover it.
Well, then we can get in some of the tactics over a drink. So
Okay.
we're gonna go for trivia, and then we're gonna do our drink session. So make sure you go get your drinks, and we'll be right back. Find my commercial here in a moment. There we
Mm.
go. I got it. All right, all right, all right. So, since those of you who love drinking, to let you know about this particular segment, what we do is, for those of you who knew, we actually make drinks, either make a mocktail, cocktail, what have you of your choice, and then we kind of just have our drink, talk about our drink, and then we go for it. So make sure you have your drinks, and I don't know sure why, but everybody loves this part. Hold on. All right. So, what we're gonna be making today? I have a I've been making this drink for a while because it's very simple. It is coconut rum, and you can make any kind of coconut rum. It's Emerald Cove coconut rum. We're gonna put this in here. I know they usually say 2 ounces, but I do it enough to taste, and it takes a lot for me to taste. So I think this is about enough to taste. And then we have in pineapple juice. I just usually go straight with the pineapple nectar. This is a very simple drink. You can ask any bartender that you go to or any bar. They usually have these two drinks, these two ingredients. And then you can just add in as much as you like. Usually about 6 ounces, they say. But depending on who it is, they'll have that. And then usually it's over ice, but these are directly from the refrigerator, so it's okay. And then you actually add a splash of grenadine. And then what this drink is, it is an island drink. It is called the Panty Ripper. But usually you'll hear it called a tequila. It's like a tropical sunrise here in the US. So every bar usually knows a tropical sunrise. It's just that they add orange juice. Just take out the orange juice and you have a drink. So,
Wow.
well, thank you. So what are you drinking, Jillian?
Well, nothing as fancy as that. So I have with me my Tatsu tea. which can be turned into a tatsutini.
Ooh.
But tatsu tea, it's made from matcha tea, and
Mhm.
it's actually my husband is a martial artist, and his best friend of all time, who lives in Philadelphia area, is the founder of tatsu tea. And so it's very natural. It's a performance tea, and it's got electrolytes and vitamins, minerals, and is competing with all the other teas out there. So we drink a tatsu tea almost every day. I'm really a water, like I got my big thing of water over here too. So I drink a lot of water, a ton of water a day, but I do mix in a tatsu tea as well. So that's what I'm drinking, but it can very easily be turned into a tatsutini.
Oh, I'm about to make that happen. So, what are y'all drinking out in the audience space? What are y'all? Let us know what y'all drinking.
Yeah, I'm
And
curious.
Dr. Sev, yes,
Yeah,
Dr. Sev, you know
I
what it is.
I should have turned it into a tatsutini. My goodness, you've got a good drink going on over there, getting lit.
Oh, Lisa joined. Lisa, I think you say you normally get your daughter at this time, but thank you for chiming in. Um,
Well, Lisa.
yeah. If y'all haven't checked out her episode, it's actually the one that's plastered on my show, one of the top ones, because we talked about stocks and getting investing and so forth. So if you're new to the stock market, trying to get in stock market for your kids, talking about how to get UTMAs, getting started for your under 18-year-old, definitely check that out. All right, let's see. Mom's drinking Dram. What the heck is that?
Drambuie?
Drambuie? Never heard of a Drambuie.
Hmm. Somebody
Um,
needs to share their recipe.
I know, right? Oh, it's actually a liqueur on its own. It looked like it 40% alcoholic. It's a scotch or whiskey.
Oh, okay.
Um, oh, this is only 21%. No wonder this tastes like juice. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Right.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see, Dr. Sev. You said what? Water's not
Boring.
boring.
I have my water
Right.
too, you know.
Yeah, she got a chaser,
Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Water is so critically important to the health of our overall health of our bodies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's true. Yeah, that Drambuie is pretty strong at 40%. I mean, that's put some hand on your chest if you're gonna drink it straight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna be all night long, depending on how much you poured yourself. But slow down, it's Friday tomorrow.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is I guess now we get the talking to the meats and potatoes. So for those of you who are want to dial in, you can dial in at 833-699-2558. If you have any burning questions, you can ask them live right now to I don't call you like a life coach.
No, I'm an executive. No, I'm an executive coach, personal development coach,
Mm,
and but yeah, life coach. I don't start playing with people's lives around there, but there is a life component anytime we're talking about self-discovery, and so. But I do executive coaching.
okay. So if you want to show up authentically you and you have a burning question on about showing up properly at work and you're afraid and you just don't have those tools, this is the time to ask the question.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask the question.
Okay.
What questions should I be asking myself to show up authentically me? Like what are the top 3 questions I should ask myself every day?
The top 3 questions you should ask yourself every day. So, am I being myself?
Mm,
This is number 1. And to the statement before, am I comfortable being myself? Okay. And then, are my decisions aligned with who I am as a person and what I value as a person?
I like that. Okay. So it depends on the setting though. Cause I'm thinking like if you go out to the club, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm sober, I can dance. And some people are great at it.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just need to calm down the voices in your head, and you just go to the bar to get a drink to kind of fit in,
Sure.
which goes back to what you said earlier. It's like, why are you doing this to fit in with everybody else?
Right. And if it's not something that you want to do, if you're not a drinker, then don't drink, right? If you don't have a belief in something, then don't go do that thing and be okay with not doing it or saying, like, I'm gonna come hang with you, but I am not drinking. Like, I'm just not. I don't drink. I stopped drinking or whatever the case may be, but don't do it just because everybody else is doing it and be okay with where you are as a person. If it doesn't align with you and what you value or where you are in, your season of life, then don't do it and be 100% okay with not doing it. Right? Then if you have pushback from friends or whatever, then you have some other decisions that you need to make. Who do you want in your circle?
That part, like setting
That
up some boundaries.
that exactly.
Right.
Who do you want in your circle? And if they're not supporting who you are and the decisions that you're making, I'm pretty quick to snip from my bonsai tree.
Oh.
Okay. Because it's important to me to do things that are aligned and not be judged or what have you. And it's okay if you're judging me, but now we just may have to move a little bit differently.
Mm.
So, and that's okay too. We're not all meant to be constantly flowing 100% all the time. And there are people who I can be around for a certain period of time, but then, like, hey, it was good for this amount of time, but now we part ways and we go because we are not aligned in everything. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Yeah, because
Say about that one, so I'm stopping myself here.
no. It's really good because one of the things I do talk a lot about is setting up those boundaries, especially during the holidays.
Mhm,
And having boundaries not just with the people that are around you, but also your core family members, and be like, look, I don't have it. Or like, you're only getting this.
mhm,
And for me, I'm like, as a gift, I set my boundaries even with my own gifts. When people ask me, like, hey, I'd rather have a book than clothing, than anything for the house or anything like that. I'm like, just give me a book. Let me tell you what book it is. And I'll be, oh, yeah, so excited because it's a book that I really want. Not so much that this is something that I want, understanding the platinum rule, which
mhm.
is which is treating people the way they want to be treated instead of the way you want to be treated. And that is one of the things that was hard to learn as I was growing up,
Yeah.
because you always taught, like, well, if you want people to be nice to you, you need to be nice to them, but they don't like nice. They want balance.
Hmm. So that's interesting. There's two things that you said there. So sometimes there's sometimes when you sort of, I don't want to use that word acquiesce, but right now that's what's coming to me, so I'll just say acquiesce. But there are some times when people may give you something that you may not want, but it's what they want you to have.
Mm,
So there's a part that's like, be grateful that that person wanted to give you what they wanted you to have. And some of those things you'll cherish forever. It might not have been something that you want, but it's what they wanted to give you. Right.
mm,
And so there's a little bit of give and take. That's not what I would consider to be, authentic, not authentic, or what have you. But there's a space in there to receive what other people have to offer, even if it's not exactly what you thought you needed. You come to cherish those moments. You come to cherish those gifts. You come to cherish all of those things based on your values, right? I value this relationship with this person who gave me something that I didn't even know I wanted or needed, but now I have it and it means the world to me because this person gave it to me.
mm.
So there's that piece of it. I'm gonna pause there.
No. I like it because I'm going back to the interview that I want to say one of the Wayans brothers had. I want to say on Club Shay Shay, just to shout out another podcast.
Mhm.
And one of the things that the Wayan, I want to say is Damon Wayan,
Okay.
who said that, he wanted the basketball for Christmas. But because all his friends was going to have one because he wanted to play and stuff like that. But his mom always gave him socks and gloves for
Mhm.
Christmas. But it wasn't until he got older that he realized that his friends are outside playing basketball, but their hands are cold and their feet are cold. But he was the only one that was actually warm and was able to stay out longer
Mhm.
because of what was provided to him during Christmas. And it's just kind of like, well, yeah, you can have it, but can you get it from somebody else?
Mhm.
Especially if it's a gift thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or can you share it? There's a lot of different things there. So, I yeah, there's that can go so deep because there's just things like even just asking for something that you want feels to a certain way to people, right?
Yes.
So so it just depends on who you are and how you operate. And yes, trying to teach your daughter, you don't have to do everything because everyone else is doing it. Absolutely. I think any parent out there identifies with exactly what she just said. So we try to teach it, but it's inherent in us as humans. Like everybody else is doing it. So I want to do it too. Or everyone else has it. I wanted Guess jeans when I was growing up. It's like, oh, I want
Yeah,
Guess
I
jeans.
remember
Okay.
those.
No, I didn't want the Lee jeans that, my parents wanted me to get, but, eventually I got my Guess jeans and, that was fine. But, um, and I've got kids like that too. They grew up and they wanted this and they wanted the Calvin Klein, whatever. So we're constantly, I think every parent right there identifies with what she just said. But I try to, there's a word that I use often. That's just grateful. Be grateful for whatever it is that you do get. And if you really want it, find a way to make the money so that you can go purchase yourself. This is a money show, right? So purchase it yourself. So yeah.
Yeah, teach the kids to go fish.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So Nia says, I do this with friends when we hang out. I tell them I would like, hold up, I would like it to be an activity rather than centered around food. Okay, this is going back around like drinking and so forth.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah. And I think that's good. The one thing that's standing out to me is that she's willing to tell them, like,
mm,
I don't want this to be around food. And then when you're doing things with friends, there's some give and take there, or there's a choice, right? While you all do the things centered around food, I'll meet you after. Or we'll do the thing that I want to do before. And then when you all go do the food thing, I'm leaving. Or it's okay if we do the food thing for a little while, but let me make sure that I fulfill my own needs as well. And hopefully they'll, go with you. And then it becomes a conversation if they're not willing and all that kind of good stuff. But the one thing that I'm hearing here is that she's willing to communicate that. She tells them. And that's a piece that's missing sometimes is that people don't want to say what somebody else might not want to hear. So that's such a critical part
mhm.
right there is telling people what you need, what you want that brings you fulfillment.
And I always commend people who can actually just stand up for themselves to kind of say, like, you know what, and the power in saying no without saying no,
Yeah.
even though no is a complete sentence, but you can say no, but almost like a not right now thing, maybe later.
Yeah. What's wrong with no?
Nothing.
Right,
Um,
right.
nothing's
If
wrong with
no is the answer, no is the answer.
it.
I
Mhm.
am not. And I don't necessarily need for you to understand that. I've said no. And it's not my role to let you down in a certain way. If my answer is no, it's no. If you have a problem with me saying no, you need to own your problem with me saying no.
Mm.
I don't need to own that for you. I've said no, that's mine. How you react to it is yours. And we
Okay.
can have a conversation about it. I may have delivered it poorly or, something like that. That's a different. But me saying no, if that bothers you, that's a look in the mirror moment for you and you work out what your reaction is there.
Okay. Can you talk about saying no in the workplace?
Mm, yes. Yeah.
Because you get told, be like, hey, can you do this? Be like, I ain't doing that. Like, get your buddy over there. It's like,
So yeah, gosh, this is so this is a really, really big topic. So we'll go sort of micro here because they're saying no and then they're saying there's insubordination, right?
mm,
And I think those two things are very different and can be handled different. And most times, I mean, I have been in leadership for many, many, many years. And the times when I've heard people truly say no, a lot of it stems from not being able to understand how they fit into the bigger picture and why it's important for them to actually do the job or what have you. How you say no is a whole different story.
Mm.
Um, but there's that piece of it, but there's also like boundaries from a work perspective where whatever it is that's happening doesn't align with your values or the things that, there might be something where you have what we would call like a crisis of conscience, if you will. Like, my work is requiring me to do this thing, and I don't believe in that thing. Therefore, I'm having an issue doing that thing. And so that's a different conversation. And that is for the person to stand up and say, this does not align with my belief system. This does not align with who I am as a person, and have a dialogue about it so that it's a professional and productive dialogue where that person can say no in a way that's professional, and they can get reassigned somewhere else, right? Or, have that dialogue. But most times that somebody doesn't understand, and that's a leadership issue that's not providing clarity to the people that they're asking to do the work. And then the reverse of that is if the person doesn't understand because their leader is not effectively communicating, then it's up to the person to understand. Please help me understand why it's important for me to do this. And that's a legitimate question. How does this fit into the bigger picture? What is it that you need me to do? Why is it important that I am the person who does it? Right? Those are the questions that people need to answer. Like, why am I doing this? Why are they asking me to do it? I'm so busy. There's oftentimes a disconnect between workload and perceived workload. Because maybe you're just the person that doesn't look like they have a ton to do, but your plate is full. Then, have that conversation. And in the future, increase the dialogue so that your manager, your leadership understand what's on your plate so that you don't get tapped every single time, but be willing to say, help me understand why I'm this person. And if it's a priority conversation, help me prioritize.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just walking really fast with a notepad in your hand in the hallways to everything, even though you don't have anything on the notepad.
Yes. Yes,
and,
exactly.
and more than having like 50 windows up on your screen.
So true. And I do. I work with leaders a lot who are very frustrated because their teams are not performing, or they're not being productive, or they've delivered something that my husband will say it's the bring me a rock, and the leader is neglecting to provide the level of clarity that people and teams need to actually deliver. And I work with frustrated leaders, and I'm like, let's take a look in the mirror here. What can you do differently to make sure that your teams understand it? And more often than not, they're scared to confront that they may not be an effective leader.
Oh, that's a whole nother discussion. We might
It
have to bring you back for that one because
Let's do it. Let's do it.
awesome. So I'm gonna bring up the thing as we come up to the top of the hour here. For those of the people who are looking to get inside this book giveaway. So right now, to make sure you're inside the book entry, go ahead on and type in #excellence. We have 4 entries right now. Remember, you only can do it one time. So even if you type it 50 times, it still counts as one. So Dr. Sev, I'm looking out at you. Not to call you out there, but But Dr. Sev brought up a good thing. She said she is the queen of saying of no when in the corporate America. No, I don't want to go to lunch.
Mhm. Mhm.
To leave early. And I
Yeah.
thought about that.
Yeah.
What else she says? She says that I would say these are the things you want me to accomplish,
Yes.
and I can't do both. Which one do you want me to complete?
That's
Now,
that prioritization. It's like,
mm,
which one of these is a priority?
right.
Yeah. Love it. Love that.
And well, because Dr. Sav, she recently retired, so she's like
Mhm.
super awesome. And I actually got her episode pre-recorded. We just got to get time to get it up out of there.
Okay. All right. I'm
Um,
looking forward to it.
yeah.
I'm saying no.
And she further say exactly a leadership issue. If you're the company workhorse, they typically have no problem dumping and I have no problem saying no. Yeah, I am that person. So I'm working on my no
Yeah.
phase starting next week because now that the shutdown's over with,
Yeah.
saying
It
no to a lot of things.
Yeah. So what I would encourage, like, there's a place of understanding, right? It's 100%. There's a leadership issue because your leadership should understand what's on your plate, what the priorities are, what you're doing, and those kind of things. But it's also incumbent upon you as the person to say, I've got these just for your awareness. Here's what I have. Help me prioritize because now you're giving me something else. I need to prioritize. What do you need me to do? And what can I offload? How can we spread the work a little bit if this is a priority here? Okay. So, and I see people so often just kind of keep taking it on, and then burnout happens, frustration happens, resentment happens, and it's on both ends because the leader is very frustrated because the person's not getting it done or not getting it done fast enough or what have you. And then they're frustrated because they keep getting dumped on. So I see she only typed it once.
Right. uh,
Yes.
I see you, Dr. Sam. I'm just saying, I see you. All right, so we got 4. All right, I
Yeah.
don't see any more new ones. So you ready for the drum roll? Yeah, I
Yes.
got some. I used to have some music for this. I want to play the.
Nothing beats it.
Yeah, that should be it. Yeah, let's do this. This will be our music for the drum roll.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save up to £240 for a family of 4. Don't miss out. Book
I don't
now
count.
with Jet2 holiday.
Hey, Dr. Sam,
Go. Woo!
awesome.
She gets the book.
Right.
I'm so excited. I will sign it, and you'll have to tell me how to connect there so I can get it out. So,
So tell her what email to send it to, and then she'll send you her contact info.
all right. So you can email me at Jyllian, JYLLIAN, at isocoachingllc.com. Again, that's
Yay.
Jyllian at isocoachingllc.com.
And put the subject line about that while it live.
Yeah.
So we can
Yeah,
reach
that
out.
sounds good. So just give me all your information. I'll get it out to you. I'll sign it and send it away. So yeah.
Awesome.
But here's really quick. I know we're winding down, but it is a show about money. And here's what I will say really quick, right?
Okay.
Is that a lot of people will take all types of time to invest in whatever, everything. Maybe it's even I'll invest in a weight loss program, or I'll invest in new floors in my situation, or what have you. I liken investing in yourself, your leadership skills, and self-discovery and learning all about yourself as an asset. Okay. And your liability there is if you don't do it, there's a lot of risks. There's a lot of risks there. It's a liability for you not to understand and be self-aware. It's a liability for you to have the impact that you really don't want to have, and you're negatively impacting and you're not very self-aware of that. So that's what I will say. If you're doing things out of obligation or misalignment or something, there's your liability. So for your financial folks there, assets and liabilities, I got to bring that in for you. I promised you I would.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, this was fun, Jyllian. One more time, can you just tell people where they can find out more about you and actually get a hold of your book?
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram or LinkedIn, Jyllian Clarke. Not that hard to find there. And I invite you to also go to my website, which is isocoachingllc.com. I am right in the midst of reconstructing. So probably in about a month, maybe a little less than that, I'll have a brand new website out there for you and places for you to connect. I am building a community. It's already underway, but I will be officially launching that the beginning of December, mid-December. So you'll be able to see that, which is why I'm revamping my website and doing a lot of things there. So please, please, please connect with me, share. I do coaching. I've got the community element as well. And then again, I have the trademarked initiative. I am me 100% validated, which I can do virtual or in person. And it really is a 90 to 120 minute self-guided journey. What took me months to figure it out, I've packaged it up, and it's so powerful in a 90 to 120 minute session. So please do follow me.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much. This was great. Hopefully everybody who's listening right now, make sure that y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful time. This is, again, can't thank you enough. Make sure y'all go follow her on all the social platforms. Make sure y'all continue to hit the like, subscribe button, share this out. And if you haven't already, if y'all new here, please remember the likes really do help out, because that's the only way I can really get my reach and to kind of share this information and get more people like Jyllian onto the show, especially on the live shows. I love the live show because I don't have to edit.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, really quick, if you missed my contact information, you know how to get in touch with Anthony, but find me, message me, you can DM me, whatever, on Instagram, and I'll make sure that we connect. So
Perfect. All right, everybody. Remember, you can put on one show at a time. If you try to put on both, you will trip. All right. Y'all be safe.
thank you, Anthony. This
You're
is
welcome.
fun.
All right, stay on for a little bit.
Okay.